Previously, Ryan and Galan fought for the first time in the series. During the brawl, Ryan deliberately took all of Galan's blows with ease, making it clear that he had no intention of fighting seriously and was merely acting.
Galan picked up on this and played along, pretending to fight Ryan as well.
While the brawl continued, a worm member hid behind the bushes, planning to take out Sekibayashi when the opportunity arose. However, to his surprise, Sekibayashi moved from his original position and snuck up behind number 9, revealing that he had been playing dead the entire time and was fully aware of 9's presence and location. Seiki then choked him out and regrouped with Ryan and Galan, clearing up the misunderstanding. He explained that 2 fighters had ambushed him and taken him down. Sekibayashi then recalls that those fighters were Fu Zhan and number 9. While Zhan and 9 were evacuating the closed-off area, Fu spotted Sekibayashi and pointed him out to 9. Seiki admits that he made a major mistake by running into them before he could regroup with the others. Seeing the 2 fighters, he assumed they were worm members. He then states that since he had already crossed paths with them, he couldn't simply leave without a fight, to which Fu replied that it was fine. Seiki told Fu to lighten up and boldly declared that he would take both of them on. Hearing this, Fu remembered something and turned to 9, telling him that he was not allowed to fight freely, as the head of the worm had given him specific instructions. Fu then ordered 9 to fight Sekibayashi and take the fall, which 9 obeyed without hesitation. During the fight, Seiki recalls that 9 and Fu took turns fighting him one-on-one, treating the battle like a game. Seiki admits that number 9 was tough, but he eventually gained the upper hand. However, when it was Fu's turn, the tables completely turned on him. Seiki states that Fu was in a league of his own, and had effortlessly overwhelmed him. As Fu approached Seiki, he says that he should have known that things would end like this, accepting that he'll get scolded by Yen for fighting. In an instant, Seiki receives 3 strikes from Zhan, 1 to the face, the throat and the face again. Sekibayashi admits since the last time he faced his former master, he had never felt helpless in a fight until now. 9 eventually stopped Fu, who questioned him, admitting that he was starting to enjoy the fight. 9 then pointed to his device, warning that someone was approaching, making Fu realize that they had run out of time. Fu ordered 9 to stay behind and watch Sekibayashi until he was eliminated, and to eliminate anyone else who arrived if they turned out to be an enemy. He also instructed 9 that if he realized he stood no chance, he should attempt to eliminate both himself and the enemy. Fu ended by reminding 9 that everything he was doing was at his own discretion, to which 9 acknowledged that he understood. Back in the present, Galan asks Ryan if he arrived shortly afterward. Ryan confirms this, admitting that he showed up at a rather awkward time. Ryan recalls seeing Sekibayashi, whom he rudely addresses as Old Fart, sunbathing as if he were on vacation. Annoyed by the nickname, Seiki demands to know who Ryan is calling an old fart. He then explains that he was actually playing dead and signaling that an enemy was nearby. Galan says he understands now, as Sekibayashi pats him on the shoulder and expresses how glad he was that Galan showed up, serving as the perfect distraction for number 9. However, Galan points out that even if he hadn't arrived, Sekibayashi would have played dead and waited for the perfect moment to ambush 9 anyway. Seiki admits that's exactly what he would have done, though he isn't confident it would have worked. As mentioned earlier, Sekibayashi reiterates that Fu was in a league of his own and is definitely bad news. From what Seiki can tell, Fu was far stronger than the other worm members. The scene then shifts to Fu, who is checking the number of fighters remaining. He notices that numbers 8 and 9 have been eliminated, while Sekibayashi and the intruder are still active, making him realize that things won't be as easy as he initially thought. Meanwhile, both Kim Jangi and the Falcon have been eliminated by Gilbert Wu, who is visibly frustrated that Ryan still hasn't shown up. He angrily demands to know where Ryan is. Back with Oma and Okubo, they suddenly hear a voice over the intercom congratulating them on making it to the second stage. The voice belongs to Sayaka, who announces that a new rule has been added to the tournament. Yamashita admits that he's surprised by this sudden rule change, while Akiyama notes that she assumed Yamashita already knew about it. Yamashita clarifies that he wasn't informed at all, nor was Sayaka, judging by how she announced it. Sayaka then explains the new rule. In order to encourage more direct combat, a new condition has been set. Cosmo wonders what it could be, while Haruo comments that it sounds like a game mechanic. Sayaka reveals that entry into the final area now requires a fighter to stop another competitor's transmitter.
Okubo is shocked by this revelation, while Cosmo questions why this rule wasn't announced earlier.
Fu, hearing the update, remarks that he had thought the rules were too lax and assumes the organizers are now ramping things up. After reviewing the specific conditions, Fu regrets not eliminating Sekibayashi when he had the chance. Ryan also hears the announcement and takes it as an opportunity to challenge Galan, telling him that they can't play pretend anymore and that it's time to get serious. So it looks like I got one of the silhouettes right, which was Fu Zhan, while the other turned out to be the chopped minion. During Sekibayashi's explanation, we learn that he struggled against number 9 and was completely overwhelmed by Zhan. Honestly, Sekibayashi having trouble with a minion like 9 feels a bit underwhelming, since 9 is essentially a nobody. That said, it does make sense that 9 could put up a fight, considering he's a direct subordinate of the Worm's head. Still, based on the feats we've seen from Seiki, I don't think he should have been pressured that hard by 9 and Zhan so quickly. As for Zhan, he completely dominated Sekibayashi with ease, which really highlights how strong he is. Given his rank within the Worm and the fact that he can go toe-to-toe with Roland Donner, it's not surprising that he's powerful, but I didn't expect him to handle Sekibayashi that effortlessly. To be fair to Seiki, he was basically getting jumped by 2 strong opponents, making the fight unfair from the start. Just like he admitted, running into them before regrouping with the rest of the team was a huge mistake. Luckily, Galan and Ryan passed by when they did. If another Worm member had shown up instead, Seiki would have been completely cooked. He's also fortunate that Ryan had enough self-control not to rip off his device immediately. We then finally get to see Gilbert Wu, who managed to eliminate both the Falcon and Kim Jangi at the same time. Judging by Gilbert's condition, it looks like he overwhelmed them with little difficulty, though they did put up a fight since Gilbert took some damage. We don't really get to see much of Gilbert in the manga, so I was a bit disappointed that this fight happened off-screen. Still, Gilbert is shaping up to be very strong, and Ryan clearly has a tough challenge ahead of him. This might be a controversial take, but I'm actually hoping Gilbert comes out on top in his eventual fight with Ryan. That would definitely give his character more weight. It would be pretty disappointing if Ryan just kills him and ends his story abruptly without him accomplishing anything significant. Like I predicted before, though, I think their confrontation will be saved for the upcoming war, but we'll have to wait and see. The newly added rule is also interesting, as it forces fighters who haven't secured any eliminations yet to start acting if they want to stay in the tournament. It's a smart way to create conflict between characters who normally wouldn't clash, while also encouraging betrayals within teams. We're already seeing this with Ryan, as he challenges Galan to fight him seriously this time. Seiki will probably stay out of it, since Galan likely won't allow him to interfere, but can Galan actually come out on top? Based on their earlier exchange, Ryan seemed to have the upper hand, tanking Galan's blows with ease. However, Galan did say he wasn't fighting seriously once he realized Ryan wasn't either, so he will perform much better in their next fight. Both fighters are extremely popular and powerful, so this clash could easily end in another stalemate, or it might surprise us by letting one of them walk away with a decisive win. That's just my speculation though. Let me know in the comments what you think will happen if this fight actually goes down. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.